Hey, what's up? Thanks for tuning in to German Chocolate Life of a Mixed Girl. I'm Jessica Vivian, aka German Chocolate. And it's been a cool week because last week, Monday, I got on another agency roster, a commercial. But it's really cool because that's what I want. I want to get more on camera commercial experience. I honestly find commercial auditions so awesome. And the last few times there was quite some improvisation to do. One of them was all improvisation, like I swear. It was like, all right, get into your action after Slate. Action is improvise, just be a character. And I'm trying to figure out, I'm looking at the brand name, then I'm Googling it, I'm finding a brand, but I mean, I don't know. Is that the brand? I mean, it could also be a smaller brand. Like, I don't know. So I'm just going with it. So you might have seen a small snippet on my Instagram about the complete weirdness of the audition I did, just a small part of it. So it might not make sense, but it looks funny um, because it's a snippet. But it's cool because when you usually get like the self-tape sheet and it has the whole like okay then self-tape from here and then from here and then through the whole from side the profile show your full body and the mess in your room um and then it has the lines. And if it's like a quick turnaround or you got a lot to do and you really want to do this, but you're like, oh, I only have this evening to do it. Then you first got to learn all the lines, then you got to feel comfortable, then you got to get into it. Like, what's the mood? So you're not just like, okay, one, two, three, this happened yesterday, and this is what happened. Especially, um, when you're in theater, nobody really sees like where your eyes go. Actually, you don't look at your partners on stage a lot because if the partner is like far in the left, then people would just see your profile. So you're kind of looking at like an angle so that people can still see your face. But if you're like thinking, nobody's really going to see that. If you're thinking in voiceover, unless you're leaving a huge pause, nobody's going to see that. But these self tapes that are like right in your face, you're like, what's the line? Damn it, now I got to re record it. Or I leave just a little bit of a like long pause. I was like, I really liked it, but that pause was a little too long. In voiceover, if I really liked it, I just cut out a little bit of the pause for my audition or my recording. Um, so improvisation can be so much fun. There was one before where they at least kind of told me what to do, but it was still improvisation what I say. And the specs were like to talk about something very specific that I knew nothing about. And then it said, take your time, three takes. Take your time. Like, how much is take your time? 30 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes? Like, how much do you want to see? I'm like emailing my agent. I was like, okay, so I'm not sure what they want me to say. It just is like a topic about something very specific in that industry. And then it says, take your time. And then my agent's like, yeah, just like, they said, talk about this. And I was like, okay, just confirming. I'm like, taking my time. Two different. I said, as long as it feels right. So very interesting. And because I like this so much, and I mean, commercials also pay well, uh, I was like, let's get some more going. And I actually didn't think that I could add another agency in my market until I saw someone on social media. I really love her. She's like amazing. She's like a booking queen in commercial. Um, and I've seen her posts, and under every post is a different agency, but all in the same market. So I reach out. It's like, hey, is this because we're a right to work state? Because I'm pretty sure I saw something in our contract that was like exclusive for this. And she's like, nah, you're good. So then I'm like, okay, let me just double check. Go through the contract again. It's been a while since I like read that contract. And then I'm like, first, I'm not finding it at all. It's like I could have sworn it was something about exclusivity on here. And then I saw it was more about within a certain time frame to not work with different clients. I mean, we're not allowed to work with them directly, and not with other agencies within a specific time period, which that's cool because I'm just trying to expand. So now I know that. So I reached out to a few, still waiting to hear maybe from some of the others so I can get more stuff in. But one of them reached out, and it was so cool because the first thing they had was actually a voiceover audition that they had come in on a casting network that was language specific. So this is for me very cool because all three of my agents so far I've gotten in because of the language component because I'm also native German. So they're like, cool. My first agent, my commercial agent, the first one, they were like, oh, we have a German client. Awesome. Can you send a self tape? Blah, 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 blah. And all that worked out. And then I signed with them. And then I did that voiceover showcase in LA for to get a voiceover agent in the LA market. And it was the same thing. It was like a dancing back and forth. And then we like had our talk. And then it was also cool. Well, I mean, that's a niche. Let's put that in there. And actually, I think one of the auditions that came in was like language specific. I don't think for German though. So it's really good. The habit, especially those travel ads, seem to always want some sort of international sound or authentic accent or whatever. And yeah. So the one thing about commercials though, they are so last minute that you go through like a real roller coaster. First they're like, hey, we're gonna submit you, or one of the agencies actually pretty cool. They're like, we submitted you. And then may or may not have to self tape or get a self tape request, and then you're like available waiting. At first I would always be like, oh, I'm already available, like mark myself available for this, so I'm not gonna audition for something else. Now I'm like, I mean, the chances to actually book something with who knows however many people, not always great. So I'm like, all right, available, available, available. Let's see what happens. And there's something tomorrow, and I already know it was like so obnoxious. Most likely not, but when that day before hits, because sometimes they are so last minute, you're like, oh my God, like monitoring my phone. The whole like audition and or submit and then forget that works only to like an extent. If you get a lot of stuff, it's easy to forget what you already submitted for, auditioned for, or whatever, which last week and the week before kind of happened. But if you really like something or all of the things already panned out, and now you're like, I think there were a couple of things that are coming up. You're like, oh, this one thing, because for this one thing, I would have to travel a little bit. So I'm like, I would need to know. I mean, it's local hire, so they're just like, let's just let them know hours before, maybe. But I would need to know because I have to drive quite a while if I were to get this, which it's very specific, so I don't think so, but maybe know how the stance goes. Um, so I'm always nervous. And then when the day comes around and you're like, oh, it's shoot day. All right, you didn't get it. Then like this like little depression like sets in. Like even though you knew it was already silly or maybe better or there's something else or whatever, it still feels like you had that glimpse of like maybe I'll get that. And this week there are like a few things like between voiceover and on camera commercial that I'm waiting to hear back. And since I don't work remotely anymore, it's way harder because I kind of give notice, hey, it could be potentially, which that's another reason why I can't just forget, audition and forget. Because where I work, it's a clinical setting and there are patients. And this week, come on, universe, we actually have some free spots open where we're not booked. And I would just be at work like, yo, all right, guess I'm working on some project because there are no patients. And it would just be perfect, wouldn't it? To get the job and just take time off instead. So extra nervous about that. Yeah. But very excited. And as I was waiting yesterday, I like go into the car from the gym, pick up my son from like the trampoline park, and I see an email. I was like, "Ooh, what is this?" I was like, "Ah, oh my God!" call back for a studio. Um, so I work with a dubbing studio for live action dubbing, but it's been pretty dead. So I sent an email out. I was like, hey, my availability is now better than when we first started, so I could work on um, bigger roles, like have more hours available, do more lines for dubbing. And it took them a while to get back. And then when they did, they were like, we're actually also affected by the strike. So nothing going on. And I was shocked because I'm pretty sure when I went to like all the Q&As and I looked through the things that foreign dubbing was one of the things we were still allowed to do. So it's like, no, this would be the perfect time to do more dubbing. And I really like it. The perfectionist in me loves to try to match everything there. But this one studio had like a open roster call, and you submit, and I mean a bunch of people submitted. So when they said, hey, call back, I was like, yay. So later on, I'm gonna do, and it works just like for the other studio. It's pretty cool. Do my um audition for at home dubbing and send it in, and then fingers crossed to add another studio. And then I'm curious because that's a LA studio this time. The studio I work with now, oh, it buzzed my phone. The studio I work with now is a Southeast studio. Well, Florida, Miami. So yeah, a lot of news, even though it's kind of like behind the scenes, like admin adding stuff, so more opportunities. With more opportunities, it's always also like, oh my God, hopefully nothing like overlaps. Hopefully everything's like good. So I had like my agencies in my Instagram profile, but then it was starting to clog up and it was kind of weird. So now I just put reps, demos, resume, podcast, click on link. And it looks so cute on my website, represented by. It's awesome. So yeah, definitely not like a norm within the 2 years that I've been doing this to like be represented um by like three agencies now, but my niche. So that's why having a niche, knowing what it is and putting that on the forefront when submitting is really helpful. And with the studios, I'm like, the first studio, I talked about this before, they found me, so great SEO. Woo, woo, woo. Um, and the second one I actually auditioned for, and yeah, callback time. Um, I'm excited because I'm on a lot of rosters. I made a lot of connections. But it's a hard year to be an actor or voice actor. I mean, at the beginning of the year, I was still doing a lot. I was out in Boston. I was like doing some reels for theatrical stuff, which I put that on hold anyways. I was trying to break in. That's not the time. Anyways, even before the whole strike thing, I was like, I need to focus on the things I'm doing now. And then I was doing the voiceover for a character in an extended reality game. It was a corporate game. Really cool. Like they're actually doing this in more industries now. It's just super cool. So like VR, like glasses, and then you're like in this extended reality world and like solving problems. And I'm like a character in there, and I recorded that in January, and then I got my voiceover agent, and a whole bunch of stuff happened there. And then in May, I booked like two commercial jobs, like industrial and like extras, which that paid amazingly well for being an extra in like a commercial thing. Um, uh, and then I was like quiet again, just like some small stuff. And then in June, the company that I did that character with, they called me back because that character returned in like another world. Well, they're all in the same city, but in another module world. And it is so much fun. I love these live directed sessions. But one thing that I was not prepared for and I had no idea, but I kind of now see like the Easter eggs for some of the people that have been in longer when they posted like, hey, if I voiced this, if you happen to see it, like share a clip. Because, and this is so strange to me, like being the face, the body, or the voice, or all of it together in something makes you a big part of the project. So the writers will be involved, the producers will be involved, the people making it, like everyone there will know when, where, what comes out, might get a copy link, see it. I have not seen anything, anything I did this year at all. And it's mid-August. I did various characters in two movies, live action. I did the game character, which she wears two different outfits in both the modules, so that would be two awesome clips to see. I did the industrial shoot, which there's a very strict NDA, and I can't even see it at all because there's a risk of someone else seeing it or leaking or whatever, so I can't even see it. Then the extras thing, I kind of know that they're launching something at the end of the year, so I can kind of maybe be on the lookout for that. And but with the video game character, it's already uncomfortable when you're like, "Hey," sending that first email because you don't know how long it takes to make this. Like I don't know, so I waited a few months and it's like, "Hey, just wanted to check in if, there's like a clip or something." Oh, yeah, we're changing something in the back end. We'll like get it to you. And then when they reached out to record another module, I was like, cool. So let me say it in the session at the end of it. I was like, hey, I'm curious. Like, do you have a clip from the other one? And what is she wearing in this one? I would just love to see. You want to know your like how you did your performance, what it looks like, sounds like. And then again, like something, something. And I was like, cool. Voice actors like to put together a portfolio like real for like the end of the year. What we did, it would be cool to have it. Again, nothing. So I have a reminder in November to reach out again with that reminder. Hey, trying to put my 2023 portfolio together. Could you send me a clip of each of them, please? Yeah, and with the dubbing, um, that studio works with another place and they work with whatever streaming service I don't know. So, first, I don't know what streaming service will have those two movies available. I don't know when it'll be available. I don't know that all of my voices make the cut. I got paid for them, but that doesn't mean anything, right? And or that they even say, yeah, you know what, with everything going on, we're not even gonna stream it. So I see both in their original languages are available on one of the bigger streaming platforms. So I'm to have it. I'm always like going in. I'm just like, how many languages are available today? Okay, still only one. Okay, and I'm constantly going in because last year when I did the mobile video game character, it was the same, which that was so odd. So when I auditioned, I got the Excel sheet with the name of the character, and I got the picture, and I got my lines. I auditioned, and they're like, "Hey, you got it." And then they're like, "They liked it. You don't even have to re-record the lines because there's a minor character. They liked that done." But then I didn't really get a chance to ask anything, so I go sometime later back to the casting director, and I'm like, "Hey, what game was this for?" So at least I know. I don't know. At least then I found out what the game was. So I downloaded it. I started playing it. After a while, I was like, I mean, I don't know. Like, when is this character gonna come up? Is it like a somewhat playable character? Is it just gonna pop up? And then I'm like, well, what if I only get to see it once? I won't even get to record it. What if it pops up and that's it? And then I gave up. And I was in a session, like a coffee chat session with a voice actor, like to check in with people, kind of talk with people in the industry. We had a nice talk. And then afterwards, I was like, this was months later, after I like gave up playing the game. I was like, you know what? Let me like go back in. Oh, no, let me actually roll back. I did stop playing and then I went in and I was like, oh, that's not my voice. I was like, oh, well, I figured because the game was older already. And I was like, well, did they add more characters? That would be like way down the line. And then I had to talk and I went back in and it was a cutscene came on. And then I see this one person saying, oh, let's go ask Valerie. I was like, ah, oh my God, here we go again. Okay. I'm probably mixing it up again, but it was last summer. And then I like click on it and all of a sudden I hear my voice. My heart was like, oh my God, my voice is in this game. Well, only because he happened to answer and tell me, and then I still had to like play through it to even figure out where would win. Um, and I don't know if this is somewhat the same when you record for a major video game. I once this year had the privilege to audition for a bigger game, and they have those project names, so you don't even know what it is. You just kind of know what it's about when you audition. It's very clear what kind of game it is. Um, but I didn't get that. So I'm like curious when you go in to record, is it still only project name? And then maybe one day when it comes out, you'll find out you're like, oh, this seems like it would be that. And then your credits, or they kind of tag you, or do they send you a copy? I don't know. But this year, it's been so hard because I love what I do and it's fun, even just to auditions, like both voiceover and commercial auditions. Just doing them is so much fun. Um, but you want to see your work. And I have not seen any of it. And last year, I guess I was so lucky when I did the of Wakanda Forever promotion for Adidas. They were really cool. They told me when it was going to come out, so I was able to reach back out to them, and be like, "Hey, this launched. Do you like have something for me?" And they sent it, and it was cool. And then Noom had sent it right after we did the commercial. They were like, "Here, look, that's the commercial. It's doing great." And some of the other stuff, yeah, everything I was working with like indie animation, they were also very good with paying right away after recording and then sending me clips. So yeah, this year it's been rough on seeing, what the development is. I can hear it in my auditions, but I mean, I don't know what the final project sounds like. And also, I'm trying out my new mic here, the Cinco. If you saw on Instagram, on my stories, I'm like testing out a travel mic. Um, well, I'm using it here too, but it's very easier to travel because it comes with a case. But yes, I am highly confused by the fact that we have to go, as voice actors and actors, have to go hunt for our stuff, go search for it, look for it, like anxiously waiting. Did you make the cut? When is it coming out? Is it coming out? I'm trying to just enjoy the ride, but between the ups and downs of the excitement of, ooh, getting submitted, are you going to be able to like tape? Or are they like taking you right away without self tape? And then you do it, and then are you going to be able to see it? So it's a lot. It's a lot. If you are an industry pro and you have figured out a way to better manage that or find out how to find your things or word it in a way that it's easier to receive them, please let me know. Please let me know. But that is it. That is what's been on my mind the past few weeks. And I wanted to share the excitement of getting a call back, having another agency on my team, and what this journey's been like. It's been almost just about 2 years now, and it seems really long, but technically it isn't. But the further on I go, the more I'm feeling the things that people tell you. I feel like it's when your parents are trying to tell you, don't worry about that. Like if you're in love, oh, you'll fall out of love again. You'll find someone new or whatever. Or they're trying to give you some advice until you live through it. It's hard to imagine. So not to getting worked up about things taking too long, trusting the process, you know, enjoying the journey, making meaningful connections. All this stuff takes time with casting directors, your friends, with studios, building trust. I mean, there's only so much stuff that comes out as a non union actor to work on, and you're cold calling and doing all these things. So it just takes time for them to realize, oh, hey, maybe we'll ask her again or something. So I'm starting to feel comfortable in that room. I know I am in the right place. I know I achieved a lot in that time, and I can't wait to see what else comes up. Maybe even before I post this. So I hope you have a wonderful day, night, evening, and catch you on the next episode. Bye.